today's newscast with another market slump. There's been a couple of them of late. Yes, it recovered later in the day, but many very smart people are saying it may be a sign of some things to come. One of those is Peter Schiff. Peter is the CEO and the chief global strategist at Euro Pacific Capital. He's all over the Googles, as they say, and he's all over YouTube as well. I see him there myself. Really smart, passionate. But he offers something. He often has a tendency to say things, by the way, that a lot of people don't. So, Peter, thanks so much for being with us. I don't know if you caught the very beginning of the show, but I explained that there's a household debt issue of about $15 trillion out there. Is that the only debt that we need to be worried about?
No, everybody is loaded up with debt, and it's not like we began this monetary experiment without much debt. We had a lot of debt in 2008. In fact, the financial crisis was about debt. It was about our inability to pay the debt that we had. But instead of addressing the problem and allowing debt to be paid down, the Federal Reserve led us down the primrose path into much deeper debt by keeping interest rates at zero and holding them there for so long. The encouraged an overly indebted nation to borrow even more money. So now it's all facets of American society that are leveraged to the hilt. Individuals, corporations, the federal government, the state and local governments. So everybody is loaded up with debt. And guess what? Interest rates are now finally rising. And that means the cost of servicing that debt is going up. And this is going to be a problem, just like an adjustable rate mortgage was a big problem in 2008 when these things were resetting. People couldn't afford to pay. Well, the same thing is going to happen on a national scale. Rates are going up, and we're too broke to pay.
So the problem is, if we try and normalize things, it's going to create chaos. Is there any way that we can avoid that at this point?
No, it's impossible. In fact, because we kept it going so long, the collapse is going to be that much bigger. I mean, the sooner we face that reality, the better. But no politician wants to face that reality.
Right.
I mean, they want to pretend everything is great.
Right, of course. And by the way, the Trump tax cut, does it alleviate the concern, worsen the concern? What does it do?
Well, obviously, it makes the concerns worse because if the government is collecting revenue, then the deficits are getting bigger. And so now the government has to borrow even more money, and that becomes an even bigger problem. What we need is smaller government. But nobody wants to shrink government, including Donald Trump, who's now the defender of Social Security and Medicare. He wants to launch another nuclear arms race and start the Space Force. So it's all about spending more money. So Trump wants to spend more money and cut taxes at the same time. I mean, that's completely reckless.
All right, let me not ask you a question as a news guy now. Let me just ask you a question as Joe Citizen, sitting out here listening to your conversation, where I'm thinking, man, this guy's making some sense, but I'm very concerned about what he's saying. What are the signs that I should be looking for, and what should I do about it?
Well, the signs are already there. I mean, look, the stock market is falling. 40% of the S&P is already in a bear market. So the stock market is forward-looking to the next recession. You're looking at what's happening with the home builders, the housing stocks, the financials, the retailers. All these are the same things that were happening in 2007, leading to that crisis. So people need to be prepared. This is not only going to be an economic crisis, but a political crisis as well, because the Republicans are going to take the blame and socialism is going to be seen as the solution. And it's going to make the problems that much worse when it's implemented, 2021. So what you've got to do is get out of U.S. dollar assets. The dollar is going to be the biggest casualty along with the American standard of living. But you've got to invest in foreign assets. Look at some of the bargains in foreign stock markets, emerging markets that have been depressed by the strong dollar. They're going to see a boom when the dollar weakens. And look at the price of gold up another $8 today, but it's still about $1,230. Gold's going to new highs. It was at $1,900 in 2011. It's going to go much higher this time. So get invested, own some gold, gold stocks.
It sounds like a new reality, Peter, and we thank you for the hard truth. For sharing some of your wisdom with you. Look forward to talking to you again.